Aspiring Teen Chef. My name's Angela, as you can see, and Justin. And we're here, we're going to make rice with bacon and onion. Now, a lot of people can't eat bacon, totally fine, you can substitute beef. But we really like bacon, so we're going to do bacon. So we're going to get started right away, and I hope you enjoy the dish. So here we are at the stove. Justin's going to turn our stove on to 4, and he's going to just give a nice little skim coat of oil in here, and we're going to get our oil heating up. Just a couple of circles around the pan. That's good. That's perfect. Now that oil is going to heat up, and while it's heating up, we're going to do our onion. So here's our onion. I've already peeled it. I've been watching a lot of cooking shows, and Gordon Ramsey's tip is don't cut off the root end, and then you won't cry. And as you can see, I'm not crying, because as soon as you cut off the root end, apparently that's what makes you cry. So we're going to leave the root end off, or pardon me, on, and we're going to use, my husband got me this little handy dandy tool at Christmas time. We're going to use this to hold our onion, so because we're kind of wimps, or at least I am. And I'm just going to give it a cut like this, and then we're going to pop this sucker in here. So we'll see how it works. I've only used it once, and I didn't do it very well. But you just slide your knife in the slots, and you just give a slice. So I'm going to hand this over to Justin to do, and then when we get it all nice and sliced this way, we're going to chop it into small chunks, because I think I've mentioned a few times I really don't like onion. But I love the flavor, just don't like to trench into an onion. So go ahead, Justin, cut where I haven't cut. And good job. Is that thing working good for you? Do you like it? Save your fingers. Try and go into every slot, okay? Because we want nice small pieces, because you know me. No, leave that slot, but you missed a slot here. Try that one. Not that yet. Was it that one? Yeah. No, maybe you got them all. I'm probably wrong. So now we're going to pop this off, and we're just going to lay our onion out like this, and we're going to use, now when we do our hand movement, we're going to put our fingers like this. So I've cut the root off end, so it's already starting to burn my eyes, but we're going to keep our hands like this, and then that way, when we're cutting, we're never going to cut our fingers. You never have digits in the way, and you just slice like this. Your knife can go right up against your fingers, and you're never going to cut your fingers off. We want nice small pieces that we're going to saute, get going in the frying pan before we add our bacon to get it browning. And sometimes when you kind of get to the end, it kind of like comes all apart. And look at this, my eyes are watering already. Okay, we'll get this root end out of the way. Straighten up our pieces. We want nice small pieces. Okay, this one kind of got missed, so we'll pop this one, and these ones that kind of fell off the cutting board before I got a chance to cut them. We're going to get them in there. Make sure you get nice small pieces for people who are like me, because that onion flavor is so nice, and it adds a lot of taste to your food. Just really sharpens everything. Plus the onion has a nice flavor, but we don't want to have big chunks in. So here we go. We have our onion, and we're going to pop that into the wok. So our oil here is nice and hot. It's been sitting on the about medium heat for a little bit now. So all we're going to do is, I just was swishing the oil around to make sure it got up the sides a bit. And I'm going to add our onion in, our nicely chopped onion. And you can already hear it sizzling. So Justin, why don't you go ahead and get this stirred around. We're going to let the onions start to sweat, and then we're going to add our bacon in. If we added our bacon first and then our onions, the onions might get a little too mushy. So what we're going to do is we're going to give that a good stir, and while this is just, the onions are starting to soften, they're starting to sweat, they're starting to flavor the oil that's in there. We're going to cut up our bacon. So go ahead, Justin.
Okay.
Give that a nice stir. Make sure that you try and keep the onions in the water, or sorry, in the oil. Just make sure that they're kind of all down in the bottom of the pan.
Okay.
So this is what it kind of looks like in the pan there. You can see it's sizzling quite nice. The onions are starting to brown a little bit. We'll just let that sit for a minute, Justin, while we're chopping up the bacon. If you can just push all the onions into the bottom of the pan, kind of spread them out a little bit so they're not in a giant pile, because the ones on top are not going to be cooking, right?
My eyes are starting to water.
Huh?
My eyes are starting to water.
Your eyes are starting to water. And we'll be back in just a second when we fix our camera on the bacon. So here we are with our bacon. We have 2 pounds of bacon. Generally, I like my bacon to be just really, 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 really cold. Almost frozen, but not quite. Makes it so much easier for slicing, but we did sharpen our knife, so it should be fine. So we're just going to cut our bacon into small little bacon bits, basically. We don't want big giant chunks because we want to make sure that the bacon can go all through the rice. You don't want to be the guy that doesn't get any bacon in his bacon and rice, because there's only 3 chunks because you made your chunks so big. So what I'm going to do here for Justin, so I'm going to make it the section a little bit smaller for him to cut. It's a little easier to control. So Justin, again, we hold our hand like this so that our knife blade's here so that we never cut our fingers. And we use that as a guide as well. Okay? Can you try that? Make sure that those fingers are tucked out of the way. Make sure that that thumb is tucked out of the way. We don't want to be performing first aid or take you to the hospital because you cut off a digit. Go ahead. Try. That's nice. Good. Cut it all the way down though, because you see you didn't quite slice that one all the way down. Don't worry about putting pressure. This board will not get cut. Okay? Very nice. So we're going to do this for both pounds of bacon. Cut nice tiny slices. The other reason why we cut this small is because if you were going to make cabbage rolls out of this, because this is basically the cabbage rolls filling for your German and your Ukrainian cabbage rolls. Excuse me. Because you don't want giant cabbage rolls, you make your bacon pieces smaller so that you can get a nice amount of bacon inside your cabbage roll, and it's not just one piece, it's multiple pieces. Justin is finishing cutting up both our pounds of bacon, and I just came here to give our onions a nice stir. If you can see, I'm not sure if you can really see that great, but they're starting to get a little clear. That means that they are starting to soften, they're starting to caramelize. You can actually, it's hard to tell by camera, but you can kind of see the juice of the onion is coming out, and it's starting to thicken around the onion pieces, and it's very delicious. This actually helps bring your onion flavor all through your rice dish. If you were just to put like pieces of onions in and then cook it into the rice and stuff like that, you wouldn't get as nice a flavor. I find that when there's not really a lot of color on food, there's not a lot of taste in the food. So we're going to actually just keep caramelizing these. We're going to get them, then we're going to put the bacon in with them until they get a nice golden brown color, and then we're going to add our rice. So go ahead, Justin, explain what you're doing as you're doing it.
So I'm going to pour all this bacon into the wok, and then I'm going to stir it up with all the onions until it's fully cooked. You just stir it up all like that. They all stirred up.
Okay, so I've measured out 4 cups of rice. Most rice, or a lot of rice, this is a jasmine scented rice, which I really like. It just smells so great when it cooks, and it has such a nice mellow flavor. What I've done is I've measured out 4 cups, and what you should always, without fail, do with long cooking rice, I don't use minute rice, so I don't know about that so much, but long cooking rice is you should always rinse it under cold water until the water runs clear underneath. Because in shipping and packaging and moving to the store, moving to your house, moving into a container, all these grains of rice rub against each other and they actually create a dust. And that dust will make your rice glumpy. And it'll stick together and it'll be kind of gross. So we're going to rinse it off in the sink until our water runs clear. Jaden's going to follow me with the camera so you can have a look and see what that looks like.
Go.
So here we are. We're going to put our rice into a strainer. 4 cups just fits in here. And move that out of the way. And we're just going to rinse this rice because we do not want starchy, lumpy, stuck together rice. We want beautiful rice that's separated, and because I don't know about you guys, but I don't like eating big chunks of rice. So unless I'm eating sticky rice, but that's something a little different. So we just want to rinse that rice really good, and I'm kind of looking at the water underneath. It's getting clear, so rinse it really good. Very important. I know a lot of people here don't do that, but in North America, well actually probably a lot more do now because we know a little bit more about rice cooking than we used to back when I was a kid. Back when I was a kid, all we ate was instant rice. So we're just going to try and get out as much of the water as we can. Justin, do you have our pot ready?
Okay, go.
Okay, so we're going to put our rice in our pot. We let it kind of drain out a little bit. We've rinsed off all the loose starch that comes from the rice rubbing together. So our rice should turn out really nice and beautiful. So most rice, it's double the water to rice. So we did 4 cups rice. We're going to do 8 cups water. And you always start with cold water. You don't start with hot. Seems like it might be a good idea to use hot because it's kind of speed it up, but no, actually starting with cold water is where you want to go. I'm not 100% sure why it just is better, it just is. So I'm sure there's actually a reason, and if you know the reason, you can always post in the comments. So we're going to pour our water in, and then we're going to salt our rice, and we're also going to put butter in it. Justin, can you cut off? We're going to actually put a fair amount of butter in it because I like the buttery taste. And I think in our first show, we showed you that butter is always marked with 1 cup, half a cup, quarter cup. We're going to use a quarter cup.
Okay.
So I would just score it with your knife so you know where to cut it, open it, and then cut it.
Okay.
For salt, I kind of free pour. It's at least a teaspoon, if not more, for this much rice. And we're going to throw our butter right in so that it actually cooks in with the rice. Okay, so did you score that, Justin?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look. Open that up and then you can just cut it where you put your score mark.
Okay.
And we're going to pop that right into our pot. Now I found the trick for cooking rice is bring it to a boil. Turn it right down to two on my stove top, and just let it simmer there just for maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. Depends on how much rice you're cooking. And don't peak. Peaking is the worst thing you can do because you release all the moisture out of the pot, and then you get crunchy rice, and that's kind of yucky. So I'm going to pop this on the stove, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Sorry about that. So you might have been wondering why we looked a little different in the second half of the video. And that's because when I was uploading my media onto my editing program, I was in a little bit of a rush and I unplugged the camera before it finished dumping all the information. And so and then I erased it off the camera because I wasn't paying attention. So go ahead and enjoy the rest of the video. It's pretty much exactly the same that we already did. And we'll see you at the end of the video. So Justin, go ahead and pour the rice into the bacon.
Okay.
You might want to do a little bit at a time first because it's a little heavy.
It's kind of...
Whatever you can do. Okay, you're gonna have to only put a little bit at a time. Oh, look at those muscles. Justin the muscle boy. Okay, so we're gonna get our rice in there. So we cooked our rice exactly like I said. We got it onto a boil. We washed the rice, pardon me, I'm gonna start from the beginning. We washed the rice, then we put it in cold water with salt and butter. We got it up to a boil. Down, left it for about 10 minutes. Then had a peek at it to see if it was done. Once I saw that it was done, after I pulled it off the heat, I let it sit for about 10 minutes. Then had a peek at it, saw it was done, all the water had been absorbed, and so it's ready. So go ahead and stir that up, Justin, and then we're going to add our seasoning. So because our bacon is already salty, because I don't buy the no salt bacon, we'll test it before we add any more salt to it, but we'll definitely add more pepper. We've got our onions and bacon in there, cooked down nicely. Try and keep it on the burner. Just hold on to the handle with your hand. If you need a mitt, go ahead and use a mitt.
Okay, I think it's all mixed up.
Okay, so let's have a look here. So I'm going to just take a little spoon, and I'm just going to give a little taste of the rice, see if it's salty enough, because you should always taste your food as you're cooking, make sure it's seasoned properly. That's really good, but it does need a pinch more salt. So I'm not going to add a ton, just going to add a little bit. And can I have the pepper, please, Justin? Thanks. Okay, and now I actually happen to like quite a fair amount of pepper, so I'm going to put quite a bit in. Since the kids have been eating my cooking since pretty much as soon as they could eat solid food, they've kind of gotten used to it as well, my way of cooking. So we're going to give it a little bit more stir. You want to keep it stirring, and what you want is to have the rice kind of coated in the oil that was in the bottom of the pan. That's why I didn't dump it out. Have that fat coating it. It's not going to stick to the bottom of your pan. And it's going to give that nice bacony flavor kind of all through it. So I'm just going to add some more pepper now that I've mixed it up. I like a little bit of heat to mine with the pepper. Don't want it too bland. And we're just going to stir fry this just for a few more minutes, and then we'll go to our tasting. So hello, we're back. Our product is finished, our lovely bacon rice. We've cooked it all and it's ready to taste, so I'm just going to dish some out here for everybody. Jamie, use that one. Jeanette. This is actually going to be our lunch today. Joe. Oh, I forgot Justin. Can't forget the most important person. Justin. And Jalen. And me.
What about Jaden?
Jaden is busy right now, so he's not going to taste.
Boy in the video.
Go ahead, take your bowl. Oh, and I forgot Joe. Here, Joe, you take that one. And how come I have an extra bowl here? Does everybody have one?
Yep.
Oh, I guess I brought one out for Jaden, but I forgot. So taste it. Tell me how it tastes. It's pretty hot. I just took it off the stove.
So make little doodad blow.
Yeah, you have to blow. How does it taste?
Really good. Really good. What are you going to say now?
So how does it taste, guys?
Good.
Good? Really good? So I have a joke for you guys.
What?
What does a drummer call his twin daughters? Any guesses? Or you give up?
I give up.
Okay. And a 1, and a 2. And a 1. And a 2. Oh, bad joke. Okay, guys, so that's it for our bacon and rice.
I got those. What's the law? I found that the login.
I don't know.
Oh, login's long.
Oh, that's super funny. Okay, so what was I gonna say now? I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. Oh, right. So subscribe, like, if you like our videos. Over Christmas, we were a little scattered here and there. Lots of things going on. We had 3 days of Christmas here, so all the preparation goes into it. We missed a couple of weeks there, but we'll be adding a video more regular again now that the rush of the holidays is over. And I actually think that it's Chinese New Year's. I think it was this week. I don't even know. I don't know. I have a hard time keeping track of regular Christmas and New Year's. So we're gonna call it a day, and don't forget to hit the little bell so that you can, if you subscribe, so that you can be notified when we're back on here. So, can everybody say
Bye.
bye?
Bye.
And you guys have a great week.
Yeah.